integrative medicine has changed dramatically in the last 10 years. And our appreciation for things like supplements and IVs have dramatically changed. So one of the criticisms that I see with integrative medicine, and one of the criticisms not just from other doctors, but also from patients, is the overuse of supplementation. And I think the supplement world is a wild, wild west world. And I personally, I don't think I ever told you this, that there was a time period I thought, I can't find a good supplement, I'm going to create my own supplement. And so I started to search for products that I could blend together that were free of heavy metals, that had been sprayed with pesticides, that were food-based, they weren't synthetic. And that was really hard to find. And I finally at that moment was like, oh, that's not my field. The only way I would go into the supplement business would be if I could create it from scratch, where I was actually growing the ingredients. So I understand how dirty supplements can be. I understand how people use supplements and they don't know why. They're just using them. And I also know that people can spend a lot of money on IV drips, same way, and still have no formula or ethos in which to use those supplements. So how about we start off with, where do you see supplements in somebody's healing journey?
Yeah, especially in this world that we're in, like you alluded to. And there's been a few studies, and I'm going to get the percentages off a little bit here, but like how many of over-the-counter nutraceuticals / supplements actually have as much of the ingredient in them as they say, or don't even? And then how many are just completely adulterated? And it's somewhere like 30 to 40%, depending on which source you're looking at, of over-the-counter nutraceuticals have that issue. So it's like, be really careful once you do to find a good quality source. And then,
but wait, before you move on to that, how do you find that good quality source? Because I've had a lot of people ask me that.
Yeah, there are these doctor product lines, and there's a number of them now. I think one of the first ones was Metagenics, right? And there's Pure Encapsulations, and there's the Designs for Health and Zymogens, and there's a lot of other ones now as well, a lot of good quality ones. And so you just really want to get tapped into that world. There are a lot of choices now, but if you're just talking about going to Vons or Rite Aid or something and picking up the over-the-counter or buying on Amazon, you run into the risk of getting those adulterated products.
Yeah. And just so we fill everybody in, by doctor products, you mean you can only have a doctor's license to buy it. And those brands are the brands that typically are better than what you can get on Amazon or, like you said, in the supermarket.
And it's because they're putting that extra, like they cost a little bit more, but they're using that extra cost, right, to put the efforts into getting cleaner products.
So true.
Which at the end of the day, that's like, if you're going to pay for something, you got to have it be quality.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then the other thing is, I used to see people come into me to begin with, and they would literally bring in their bag of medications with 10, 15, 20 medications. And then, for a while I got into the trap of, okay, here's your 10, 15, 20 supplement bottles.
Yes. Oh my God.
Right?
Yes.
Like I'm guilty of that over a time period. Now I've gone away from that because I don't want to. It's like supplements can still be a Band-Aid approach. They can still cover up a deeper lying issue. Yeah. Now, we also live in a severely toxic world.
Yes, we do.
And our detoxification pathways are not what they need to be usually to live in the world that we live in. We don't live in cavewoman times where the earth was pristine and we're chemical free. You walk outside, you walk inside your house and it's like you're bombarded by thousands of chemicals in the air. Same when you walk outside, right? And so it's like every breath we take, we are taking in toxins. And so I do believe that there is a space for nutraceuticals and supplements and vitamins and herbs. The question is, how do we how do we tailor that? How do we make it a really personalized experience so that you're taking maybe the top 1 or 2 or 3, or, you know, depending where you are at in life. I mean, if you're pretty healthy, maybe it's only 1 or 2 or 3. If you're going through a situation, there might be a time period where we have you on more products to begin with, but the goal should be to get off of those products.
Agreed.
And use the lifestyle, right? Like getting, I mean, you know, as well as anybody about proper food, right? Timing, quality, quantity, the awareness around it. And then you just kind of go through the sleeping, the moving, right? The photobiomodulation, right? There's all these devices out there. Well, walk outside. There's this thing in the sky that glows. That is our photobiomodulation device.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. It even goes red. It even goes red in the morning and it goes red at night.
right when we need it, right?
That's right.
It's amazing.
Exactly.
And then it's like EMF. We're bombarded by these EMF. Well, go outside, take your shoes off and ground, right?
Yes.
Electrical discharge within seconds, like immediately, right?
Yes.
Breathing, the air right below our nose, it's free. And there's different ways of breathing to affect different changes, whether you're going for more of a sympathetic, parasympathetic, oxygen, or CO2, right? That's a whole podcast in and of itself. And then you get into connection and community and spirituality and something grander and just awareness. Like having awareness. So few people have awareness. Right. But it's like when you eat something, right? Your state of awareness, your happiness levels, like that's just as important as far as I can tell as what you're eating. And so there's so much there.
Yeah, I'm so happy you said that, because that is one thing that I've been, is sort of, I call it an elevation of the conversation I've been having with my following about food has been, we put so much effort into, am I eating the right food? Did I get the right macro? You know, and it's like become diet, the diet culture is so rigid, but nobody ever says like, who am I eating with? Am I sitting in a relaxed state and eating? Like the environment matters as much as actual food. So I'm so happy you brought that up. And I also want to point out, I love that we're starting this discussion with some simple things you can do that, you know, when you look at supplements, I see people that are like not sleeping, they're not getting outside, they're not walking, they're not grounding. There's so many things they're not doing, and then they're spending thousands of dollars on supplements, hoping that supplement is going to bring them back into balance. So I love what you just ran through, because that was a beautiful explanation of, are you doing those things first? And then now the supplement may have a chance of actually helping heal you.
Yeah, so true.